It truly has been a reign of terror. Occasionally people will come up to me and they ask me what I do, or maybe they know what I do,
Yeah.
and they'll say something like, can you believe you've been doing it this long? Did you ever expect for it to last this long?
Mhm.
And I'll answer them. But during our entire tenure, almost our entire tenure, Dan Snyder has been the owner of the team, and there's no way we could have expected it to have gone this bad.
I feel like Dan Snyder has waged war personally on our bank accounts. We should be so much richer than we are.
He's cost us a lot of money.
He's cost us so much money. I feel like Dan Snyder, out of that huge chunk of $6+ billion, I mean,
Should he cut us checks?
if he had anything in his heart of hearts, his tiny dark heart, he would stroke the junks a check for, I don't know, $2 million. We could just chop it up.
That's not. And when you consider ratings bonuses and everything else,
And I'm not even being facetious. Like, I'm like, over the years, he's probably cost us ratings bonuses.
if we had a Boston-like run, had a Boston-like run, oh yeah.
I mean, he owes us money.
Yeah.
That little weasel owes the junks a lot of money.
What's so funny about it is when he, swooped in. Remember, it was supposed to be Milstein, and then they didn't like
his
him.
finances were
They kind of fell apart. Not that Snyder's finances were much better, but I guess somehow he finagled it. He was supposed to be like the young, wonder kid. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
And I wonder how long did it take before we all just turned on the guy? I feel like it happened fairly quickly. Like within 4 to 5 years.
I know, but every once in a while, he would get you excited because he'd make a splashy hire at head coach. Yeah. And you'd think, oh, he brought Gibbs back.
Right.
And then that failed. They haven't had a playoff win. Just think about it.
Mm-hmm.
7 teams now make the playoffs on both sides.
Right.
They're making it easier to make the playoffs. Last year, if they'd gotten one more win, they make the playoffs. But they haven't had a playoff win since 2005.
That's going back a long way. They
haven't had a playoff win
in on 20
in
years.
Almost 20 years.
Yeah.
Just one solitary playoff win.
How much of it, though, because I'll say at the time, I loved when he signed Gibbs. And Gibbs, didn't work out great, but Gibbs did get him to the playoffs twice. And then when Gibbs left, I was disappointed. But then when he signed Shanny, I said, you know what? This guy's on the verge of the Hall of Fame.
Coach
coming on the verge of the Hall of Fame. Two-time Super Bowl winner. I mean, who didn't like it? Like on paper, we all liked it. Did Snyder? I mean, I know really with Shanny got ugly between the two. I guess you could say. I know Shanahan would argue that he sabotaged his tenure here.
Right.
But could you say he sabotaged the tenure when Gibbs was here? Did he sabotage Spurrier? When they signed Spurrier, it ended up being a big joke. We all liked it.
It was a disaster.
It was a disaster. And Spurrier was laughable.
Mm-hmm.
But we liked it at the time.
Of course.
Yeah, but
we liked it at the time.
I think in the second year, though, Spurrier got neutered. To his fault, Spurrier brought in so many of his own guys from Florida.
Right, he thought he could make
and
it
I
work
think they
here.
cut him off at the legs, and he just said, F it. And remember, he even handed over the play calling in year 2.
Yeah. I can't remember. Who did he hand
Is
it
that the
off
Sherb
to?
Lewis, or is that a different? That was under the Zorn era, I think.
Now, the Zorn one, nobody liked that one.
Everybody hated
Everybody
the Zorn
was
hire.
like, what is that? And that was when it started to get into the territory of nobody wants his job.
Right.
So, I don't know. I definitely think he's been a black cloud over the franchise. We can only do better. But I have to say, in his defense, some of the hirings at the time I liked.
Yeah, he got excited.
Just didn't work out. And I think there's a reason to like it.
But it also pointed to no matter what he tried, whether it was a college coach or an established head coach in the league or an unknown like Zorn, none of it worked. None of it ever worked under Dan Snyder.
Right.
And part of that was because he would always insert himself into running the team, helping to pick the players, sticking his nose in where it didn't belong, making a pick from the yacht to select Dwayne Haskins when everybody that worked on the football side said, well, that's a horrible idea. We don't want to draft Dwayne Haskins, but if the owner insists on it, what else are you going to do?
Not to mention the culture at the park itself.
Well, yeah. I mean, that goes without saying.
But, again, for 20 years, he has just made this team mediocre at best and really one of the worst franchises in professional football. They were one of the best and they became one of the worst
Yeah,
during his tenure.
I can't even give him mediocre because to me, mediocre is 500.
Oh, yeah, I'm
Like
just saying that
like
the
he's-
best seasons were mediocre.
Right.
All right,
They
let me
never
ask you
had an
this.
11-win season.
Nope.
Let me ask you this, though. What if Hal hits, okay?
Mhm.
And I admit, like, hits big time. Let's say he hits big time. Gets him to the playoffs. And I
Okay.
know that that's unlikely.
All right.
I'd put it in the less than 20% chance, okay? Let's say he hits big time. And they win a playoff game. Does Dan get credit?
No.
He should.
He should.
He should. He probably won't, but he should.
I give him
Cakes.
no credit for that.
Well, it's his guys. This is his regime.
I would
This is
begrudgingly
his regime.
I'd begrudgingly give Ron credit.
Because here's the thing. If Hal hits, and I understand it's a big hit, but if he hits and he is their quarterback of the next 5-6 years, then this tenure, this next little run could be good, and Josh Harris has nothing to do with it.
Correct.
Josh Harris will get all the credit for the culture change. They got rid of the ghost of Dan Snyder.
Mhm.
Harris comes in like a
But
light
I'm not
switch.
sure if
everything
it's
changes.
fair.
It's not
fair.
It may not be fair, but that will be the perception.
It's kind of like when presidents change and the economy, they say it takes a couple years
And-
for it to really change because of practice, but it doesn't matter.
And
It's who's the
also,
new president.
If
Yeah.
Sam Howell hits and he's a top 12 or 15 quarterback, that doesn't forgive all the sins of Dan
I'm not
Snyder's
saying it
past.
forgives it,
You can't just wave everything else aside. Well, look, they hit on Sam Howell on the way out in his
No.
last couple years.
No, I'm just saying it would be somewhat ironic if when he's finally forced out,
right.
they have actually stumbled onto something.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm cautiously optimistic
Yes, you are.
on Hal. I'm president of the Hal fan club.
But
this
look,
year.
they've flared up. It's not like they never made the playoffs during his tenure.
No,
They
it-
just always made it as a pretender, as a team that's squeaking in, that makes a last-second run that gets in, that
Except
is
I
not
thought
good
2012
enough.
was more than a pretender,
Yeah.
but the RG3 injury just ruined everything.
Yeah,
He did have some, listen, we all our criticism of Robert, he did have some magic.
absolutely.
And by the way, I do want to say this. I don't know if you guys caught this. People have done this to me, and I hate it. He disrespected Barry Sanders. They were. I don't know if you guys saw this. They
The
were
social media post.
They were filming at the Heisman House or whatever, and Barry Sanders was asleep on the couch during a break.
Yeah,
And
snoozing.
he recorded him, and laughing, and sleeping, and just like like mouth open, just like all of us look horrible.
Yeah, it's
or
so vulnerable.
and then he's just laughing and giggling, and of course he put the legend, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like that bit. That bit irritates me.
It didn't bother me so much.
Oh no. That's
Recording
unfair.
without knowledge?
He had no knowledge. Yeah,
No, that's what tilts you.
Yeah, Barry's in his deep REM
he's,
sleep.
He's making fun of him for something we all do. You could do the same thing to Robert. Robert could be sleeping on a plane or something, and you could, snoring. You capture
course.
video of him and embarrass him. You know what? People have done that to me, and it tilts me. not done like video, but taking pictures of me like asleep somewhere.
Yeah, they're in the Heisman House fraternity of Heisman Trophy winners.
I know. Well, share that amongst your boys, but when you put it on social media for millions to see,
Yeah, he put Barry on
know what?
blast.
I didn't like that at all.
Yeah.
Didn't like
It's
it
kind
at
of a
all.
low blow.
It's a cheap shot.
Yeah.
Barry deserves better.
Well, Barry's one
Now,
of
if
his
he's one of your
greatest ever.
enemies and you want to mock him, fine.
What if Barry said it was okay
How could he say it was okay? He was asleep.
before the post? Maybe videoed it, and
Yeah,
then
he-
when he woke
he
up,
just
Yeah,
said-
he goes,
Okay.
"Hey Barry, can I post?"
Yeah. Okay, if that's the case, fine. And I'll give you a 10% chance that he did that.
Probably wasn't the case.
My guess is that he did it.
Right.
My guess is he immediately saw an opportunity.
is there any response from Barry? Is he upset?
No, I mean, Barry's a classic guy. I didn't follow it, but I just looked at it, and I didn't like it. Didn't
Well,
like
they
it.
took a photo together later.
Well, I mean,
Well, once he woke up and he's holding Barry's. I think he was drinking a couple cocktails that day. I think he got
Oh,
knocked
what, is
out.
that right?
Day drinking Barry?
Well, because they're all sitting around, obviously it's catered and there's
Yeah.
drinks. Barry probably has a couple, passes out for a while, wakes back up, and then he takes another photo with RG3 with a drink in his
Yeah.
hand.
Well, I mean, does
Right,
Barry
just have
even know? I know that people have done this before, and they'll take a picture of me, put it on Facebook. I don't know what happens. You see it 3 days later.
Yeah,
They took a picture of you sleeping.
He tweeted he retweeted RG3's photo of him sleeping and said, "I was obviously working harder than the rest of you guys."
Nice.
Well, he took it in good
Good
stride.
response.
He took it in good stride. I didn't like for Barry. I'm Team Barry.
Yeah, you're standing up for
I'm
Barry.
Team Barry. I didn't like it.
Murray.
But I collect jerseys. I have your 1988 Oak State jersey when you won the Heisman and you pummeled Wyoming in the Holiday Bowl 62-14. I've got it in my closet. Would you be willing, and I'm not going to sell it, I promise you. You can personalize it. Would you be willing to sign the jersey for me?
Maybe. Maybe.
That's one of the funniest moments.
Such a long
Oh,
pause.
man,
One of
that's
the
a great,
funniest moments.
it's a great radio moment. That should go in the Radio Hall
I mean,
of
the
Fame.
pause. It's one thing to say maybe, okay? Maybe's hilarious.
Yeah.
Maybe's an answer that's just not on, the sheet.
Yeah. Yes or no.
It's a yes or no.
It's never a
The
maybe.
Even
box.
if you don't mean it, you say yes.
Yeah,
know what-
yeah, sure.
You know what goes underrated, under the radar in this? Is Lurch's Craig Melvin stutter.
No,
His
he
stammer,
definitely got
yeah.
Would you be
nervous.
willing to sign the jersey for me?
Maybe.
Oh, I feel bad for him on vacation.
I feel like that's
he can't
a
defend himself.
5-second count on
Yeah.
somebody trying to inbound the ball.
Oh,
as
my
far
God.
as-
I remember I used to grill him when he would do that. I'd say, dude, you're embarrassing us. What are you doing, man?
He doesn't even put the jerseys up. The last time it was his house, he has 4 or 5 signed jerseys on the floor.
I assume eventually they get around to hanging him. Because
I
he
don't
does
think he
have
has
he has
room.
like a little Hall of Fame down in his basement.
They get framed before they go on eBay.
All right, when we come